Hello, it's Mac here, and today I'm going to be talking about a new DLC for GTA 5, and that is called Ill-Gotten Gains. Now, this DLC was recently revealed by Rockstar today, and I'm going to be talking about it, and if you want to go check out the post in the description, it is on the newswire, but I'm going to be talking about my thoughts on it so far. And actually, they revealed a lot of information, a lot of the new cars, a lot of new weapons, and stuff like that, and a lot of new clothing, and some screenshots as well. So, I'm going to have a link in the description to it. It says, due to a surge in high-end crime across southern San Andreas, and that's probably because of the heist update, demand for luxury goods and services is at an all-time high. Upscale merchants of all kinds are scrambling to fill their inventories to serve the newly wealthy. The first two major deliveries this summer will be hit in the showrooms of luxury car dealerships, the shelves of top arms suppliers and other prestigious retailers in June. Here are a few new screenshots featuring some of the new rides and accessories coming to GTA Online next week. And be on the lookout for another big shipment this summer. So this means that there will be another DLC this summer. Later, probably in like July or August. And this is probably going to be a very expensive DLC, but it's called Ill-Gotten Gains Part 1. So, in the first screenshot, you can see the Mini Uzi, or the Micro SMG. It has a kind of a gold finish on it, which you can get in-game. But the suppressor has like this gold kind of finish on it. Like, it has a gold engraving. I guess not necessarily an engraving, but it does have that kind of look. Which I am actually a pretty big fan of. I do really like how it looks. And also you can see the clothing, and also you can see the new benefactor car. Next is the new car called the Innis Windsor, which will have 8 vehicle wraps inspired by the high-end designers of Rockford Hills. Now, 8 vehicle wraps, I'm pretty excited for that. Hopefully they look pretty nice, and hopefully the car can actually have like paint jobs on it. The car itself looks a lot like a Bentley, just because that's what Innis is in game. So yeah, it looks pretty cool. There's also a new Buckingham Swift Deluxe. Probably be the same as the Swift. I am actually a pretty big fan of the Swift. I don't have it because I'm not going to spend $1.5 million on a helicopter that I already have, other helicopters. Next is a new weapon called the Compact PDW, personal defense weapon, coming to ammunition. Now, this I am super excited for. Like, the cars are nice, and I'm going to be talking about more of the cars soon, but this just looks amazing. Now, it, in my opinion, looks a lot like a honey badger. If you don't know what that looks like, I'll have a screenshot up on screen. To me, it looks a lot like the honey badger. Now, the honey badger is a weapon where there's an integrated suppressor in it, and I'm assuming that if this was a honey badger, then you wouldn't be able to take off the suppressor, which would be quite nice. But on the other hand, if a lot of people are using it, then they won't show up on radars and death matches. So we'll have to see what it is. Hopefully it has, some better damage and some better fire rates than some of the assault rifles, just to compete with them at closer range. Hopefully the hip fire is good, so that you can compete with those assault rifles and those people that just use a special carbine all day. But, it does look like a cool weapon. Another thing about it is that it's manufactured by Coil. If you look, it's manufactured by Coil. I'm not exactly sure why. Coil doesn't really make the bullet weapons. They make the taser, the minigun, and the railgun. And those are all like electric powered weapons. I would honestly think if this was a honey badger, you would think maybe like a Von Fuhr, or I'm not exactly sure why it says Coil. Once this comes out, I'm definitely going to be getting that weapon and definitely doing a GTA 5 gun guide on it. So look out for that once this comes out, which should be next week, which is quite nice. So this is the Albany Virgo, or Virgo. Now it does remind me a little bit of the Emperor. I don't know why. Of course, the Emperor is a sedan. This probably won't be like the super fast sports classic. If it is sports classic, maybe like a muscle or maybe even sedan. But if it is like a sports classic, probably not going to be as good as Gal or the C-Type and stuff. Next, we got the Benefactor Sterling GT and the Pegassi Osiris features gold wing doors. Now, the Benefactor Sterling GT, that's probably the first vehicle in the that we saw, the first screenshot. And you can also see the Pegassi Osiris featuring gold wing doors, which does look nice. I am very excited to see the animation on that. And this car, they also showed off another screenshot later, and the Pegassi Osiris looks pretty nice. Now, I may be a little wrong on this, so correct me if I am wrong, and if you know like what actual car this is, based off of but it honestly reminds me a little bit of a Pagani Hyura. I may be wrong on that, but the back of it just really reminds me of it. Maybe mixed with like a McLaren or something. Although it does remind me a lot of the Turismo, which is quite nice. I am actually a big fan of the Turismo. So now we also have the solid gold Buckingham Luxor Deluxe. Shines in the Los Santos skies. I already have a Luxor, so I don't know if I'm going to be very caring about just a paint job on it. If I do actually have to buy it again. But it does look quite nice. And finally, we got hundreds of new clothing items and accessories arriving to exclusive clothers. We didn't see too much customization on these vehicles as well. On the Pegassi Osiris, we saw a spoiler, and I think on the Venus Windsor, we saw a bit of customization. And if you guys want to go get some money, then you guys will probably want to do that just for this DLC, because it'd probably be very expensive. I mean, I guess very high-end cars. So, yeah. Those are my thoughts. If you want to go check this out, then there will be a link in the description. And just know that there will also be a part 2 to this, or maybe they're talking about a different DLC or something like that. But, yeah. This definitely reminds me a lot of the High Life DLC, which I do actually really like. And it also kind of reminded me a bit of the hipster update with all the clothing and stuff. I'm definitely going to be covering this a lot. So let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. Hope you enjoy. Feedback is always appreciated. And I'll see you guys in the next video.